Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Minions of the Zoo. I'm Terry. This is Jen,
Hello.
and let's start by saying hi to chat. Hi, Micah. Well, that was quick. That was nice and
Yeah.
easy. Uh, so, how are you, Jen?
I'm very good. I admit that my leg was just turning on Twitter and being like, "What garbage am I seeing?" Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we had a crossover on the floor today. I'm like, don't worry about it.
it's it's funny that you put a penguin in chat because this little AI baby penguin has been all over my Twitter feed. It's like goo goo gaga, and it's just like I've been getting like dozens of goo goo gaga videos all over my Twitter feed. It's just this, it's just this AI baby penguin. It's like anime style thing, and it's just like everywhere. I don't know where it came from. I don't know why it's so popular, but it's pretty cute. So I mean, I don't mind. But it's just weird. This like came out of nowhere. And suddenly, like a third of my Twitter feed is just here's a baby penguin and they're doing something.
I really couldn't know. I haven't watched a lot lately. I'd make a joke that maybe it's from the Mario movie, but all I've seen from them is the stupid stars, so I don't know.
Ah, I have not seen the Mario movie. I don't know anything about it except there's probably a character called Mario in it.
I've just listened to other people's reviews of it. I haven't seen it myself. I'm like, I don't really want to spend money at a theater.
The,
Thanks.
the one true Mario movie has already been made in the 90s. It had Bob Hoskins in it, John Leguizamo, and I don't know, other people that no one cares about. Um, Dennis Hopper was also in it. There you go.
Yeah.
And it was the worst, best, weirdest Mario movie anyone could have conceived. It had nothing to do with Mario at all, except for the names of the characters. Um, it was like almost like a cyber dystopia, and it
Yeah.
was very, very far removed from the Mushroom Kingdom that you would be expecting if you've played the games. Um, it was so bizarre and so disconnected from everything related to the source material that it's kind of legendary.
Hmm.
Oh, and hello to Green Badger, who is joining us in chat.
I mean, yeah, they went with like this dinosaur theme, and I'm like, the only thing in the whole game franchise that's really dinosaur is maybe Yoshi.
Yeah. And the Goombas in the movie weren't mushrooms; they were like lizards, which
Hmm.
didn't make sense. They got everything it was possible to get wrong. They got it wrong, and somehow that made it more memorable. Like as terrible as it was, as disappointed as I was as a kid, I look back on it and I remember the movie because just how
Cringe it was.
different, yeah, just how crazy it was compared to what a reasonable person would have expected. It's kind of like the opposite of the Street Fighter movie, where the Street Fighter movie with like Jean Claude Van Damme, that I mean, sure, it got the a lot of things wrong too, but it's basically just people fighting, and they have a thin plot about Guile trying to stop Bison, but most of it's just, hey, let's have a fight between Ken and Sagat or whoever. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's dumb and it's stupid, but it's not memorable the way the Mario movie was. I don't think. Like the only thing I really truly remember from the Street Fighter movie is Raul Julia as Bison. Like he was legendary.
It's kind of the sad thing about the CGI era. Like there was some movies where, yeah, they did an okay job. Like I was into Narnia, so I
Dude,
would say the two movies that they put out, I didn't hate the CGI. Like it does make sense if you're creating a character that's based off a centaur to use CGI because half human, half horse people don't exist, or half
this is
human,
true.
half goat people, they don't exist either. Or talking lions. They actually did a better job with the lion than I thought Lion King did, but
Okay.
I
Um,
just give them credit for like early CGI. Like they did a pretty good job.
Okay. Just to address chat,
Hi, Batman.
Frosted Glass says we still don't have an answer as to why Chun-Li wasn't in that Mortal Kombat movie. That one's a mystery for the ages. We may never know. Fairy Bastard says there's a character called Mario in it, and it's a movie. I kind of suspected that would be the case. Gunsky is pointing out that it's 8:59, which is actually incorrect. It was 10:59 in the morning, so I don't know what in the world he's thinking. He can't even read a clock. Fairy Bastard says, "Hail, Almighty Brock." I don't know what he's referring to there, but hello to Blue White Screen, who also joined us. There we go. I think that's everyone in chat taken care of. There you go.
Hey, and yeah, I hope everyone's having a good evening.
But the other thing is a new Pokemon game came out that in theory would have been perfect for me, except that they fucked it up completely, like I knew that they would. And so the fan game on the internet for free is actually better than the paid Game Freak product for competitive battling, which I think is absolutely funny. It's called Pokemon Champions, and like it's only got about 150 out of the 1,000 Pokemon in it. There's like barely any items in it. None of the Pokemon that people want are there. Like they've released a whole bunch of new Mega Evolutions, and those just aren't there. And it's just like everything that is possible to fuck up, they went out of their way to make sure it got fucked up. And like people who are like have dedicated their entire YouTube channels to how great competitive Pokemon battling is, they're saying, "Fuck this game. This is retarded. I hate it."
Yeah, a lot of people aren't in the happy box. Like I'm happy that Pal World won their lawsuit against Nintendo.
Yes, of
And
course.
in all honesty, it doesn't bother me personally because I play on my own single server with like friends who want to play with me if I play the game, or their server. It's just kind of how I prefer it. But apparently there's a bunch of discords and online servers where they're just woke as shit. And I'm like, well, any game where you can kind of see weirdos who are into furries getting involved in it probably has some woke people. Just
Probably
saying. And like, yeah, the game, even though I'm not I'm not a furry type person, I'm like,
no.
I can see the kind of characters in here, and I know the kind of people who are into My Little Pony. I'm like, yeah, I see where that goes. I'm like, I just ignore it.
Looks like a black person has infected the chat, so we really need to tighten security around here. I don't know how Tia got in, but there you go. We've got a problem in the shape of a black person. So there goes the neighborhood.
For things I wish I could do, but I can't do on another person's channel tier. And I'm not meaning to interrupt you again, Terry. But earlier today, somebody showed me Black Twitter's opinion of Black Snape, and some of the memes that came from that. I'm like, I wish I could share that with you guys.
Yes. We also have Johnny Hellcat joining us in chat. So hello to Johnny.
I bet you Tier has even worse ones, and that's the sad thing is he can't share those either.
I think Twitter does a pretty good job of curating your feed. So if Tier has been interacting with Black Twitter as they call it, then I'm sure he's got far more than your eye.
I just don't know that. There's just some people who'll send you stuff just simply because you are like you're in this category. Like I have a friend who,
Anytime someone posts that you died of dysentery meme, I always get tagged in that. It's like, of course, that's my name's Terry. So when people post about black people, I'm sure T gets a lot of, hey, they're talking about you.
Hi, Johnny. Oh, look, we got two cats in the chat now.
Ah. Jeez. And also a reminder that there is a notorious a subset of heavily right-leaning bronies. Okay. I mean, I didn't know that that was a thing, but I guess Gunsky would know.
There's also a couple people I know that are technically right wing and would be classified as a furry.
Okay.
It's what it is that you do when you're a furry. Like if you're a zoophile, you get a wood chipper.
I mean, I don't really get the furry thing. Like, I guess it depends how anthropomorphized the animal is. Like if it's basically a human with like a tail and fox ears, like Smugglana's like VTuber model. Like, okay, if you find that attractive, I don't think that would make you a furry because it's like 95% human. It just has, furry ears and a tail. But if you're looking at an actual like thing that is like mostly animal with like slight human characteristics, that's kind of weird. I don't get that one.
See, it's not even that. Like I think some of the and I don't know, like, because you can't speak for every furry. Like that's just what I've learned. It's like every group, you just can't do that. But some of the people that I was talking to or like reading from, it used to be just like mascots. So like if you think of like Bugs Bunny and them, you're just dressing up like them. That doesn't mean that you're sexualizing them. You're just playing out like a character. Like it's just role playing as like Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
Like,
because I thought furry was like a sex thing. Like I would draw a big distinction between I went to a party dressed like Bugs Bunny and someone who wants to have sex with Bugs Bunny. Like I would put those as very different things. I thought being a furry was explicitly a sex thing.
That's the thing with a lot of groups, Terry, is a lot of groups probably do start off as something like, okay, well, yeah, I just kind of like this cartoon or I like that cartoon, but they're based off of animalistic kind of characters.
Yeah.
And then there's always some goon who's like, yeah, that's kind of hot. I'd put my thing in it. And I think that's just what happens. Is like, you know.
Like, because like Gunsky mentioned bronies, but like I would consider, like if someone likes the My Little Pony TV show, that's different from someone who wants to have sex with the ponies. Like those are two very different things. So, like if you enjoy My Little Pony for non-sexual reasons, then I mean, you're not the target demographic if you're like a middle-aged man. But that's whatever. If you want to have sex with the ponies in My Little Pony, that's what seems weird to me.
I think the thing with furry is because Jack think that it is just basically a sex thing. I don't think it started off like that. I think it's just like a lot of things. Rule 34 took over. They didn't keep hard enough, or at the very least, they let their showrunners destroy that image, because when you see them, like, you get images of them at the hotels or on camping trips where they're just being vile and stuff like that. But like if you talk to individual people who are into it, it's like, I just kind of liked this show growing up. Like, a lot of people were into Thundercats. Right. Technically, that would be like a little bit furry-ish because they're half cat people.
Yeah. Like I said, for me, a big part of it is what's the ratio of human to animal? Like, if it's clearly a human with like very mild animal features, then that's not nearly the same as like if you want to have sex with Bugs Bunny, that's really weird. But if you want to have sex with
Chitara, I kind of understand. I don't, but she's like,
And Gunsky says furry is typically a sex thing, but Dracona would disagree with him. Okay, because like to me, it always seemed like a sex thing because there's a world of difference between like I think animals are cute. Like if you show me a puppy, I'll think that's a cute puppy. I don't want to stick my dick in the puppy. I just think it's cute, right? There's a world of difference between, liking the aesthetic of like, hey, that's a cute thing, and getting turned on by it. That's like two very, very different things.
Well, I'm also thinking of other cartoons that I liked that were. I could understand someone recreating it as like a play or something. It might be too
Hmm,
dark, but I think it was called something not Nostradamus, but it had to do with a bunch of rats and a laboratory.
okay.
And it's just it was one of those dark cartoons back in the 80s and like mid 80s. Um, and I'm like, it's basically all animals playing as characters in this thing, but it was a really good Well, I liked it. It's a dark cartoon though. Nowadays I don't think they'd show that to kids. But if you were to recreate that as like a play or something, like you're dressing up as a bunch of mice. If it's just recreating a story, I honestly don't give a shit because
Right.
that's what you have to do to recreate a story. Like the Lion
Yeah.
King is people walking around with masks that are supposed to look like said
Well,
animal
exactly.
that they're supposed to be. They aren't
Yeah.
that animal.
No, I mean,
um,
like that's why I made that distinction. Is like if you're dressing as a lion because you're in a play and your character is a lion, that's normal.
yeah,
That's like fine. That's not a. I don't think that would make you a furry. That just makes you an actor. That's like totally different.
yeah. Tear,
Um.
tear got me there. It is a Secret of Nim. I was just having one of those brain farts from like, which cartoon am I thinking of? Because there's
Oh,
so
okay.
many
Yeah.
that guy did that I'm like,
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen The Secret of Nim, but
It
I've
is
heard of it.
actually, if you ever do one of those movie nights or something, it is one of those cartoons I recommend because it's adult enough that as an adult you can still enjoy it. Like it's not so
Yeah.
cartoony that you're like, oh god, it's a cartoon. But it is something where you're like, yeah, most of the kids who watched this were like 6 when they first saw it, and you're like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of concepts in there where you're like, is a 6-year-old even going to understand this? No.
Um, yeah. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of Don Bluth's stuff, but the stuff I have seen, he does seem like he was very talented at what he did. But I just haven't seen his work. I've played Dragon's Lair. That's about the extent of it. And I know he did the animations for that game, but I haven't seen a whole lot of his movies that he made.
I miss his art every day. It's one of those things where like I feel so plagued with Nintendo and Disney, and for a while the Japanese anime was like a breath of fresh air because it was something different, and you do get a lot of still different styles from the Japanese. But
Hmm.
I honestly miss a lot of the older art styles just because it's a different level of effort into the art. Every cartoon's a little bit different in that way.
Yeah.
Um but some people really did have art pieces when they would do their cartoons. And when you look back on it, they were probably a pain in the ass to make because, like, art piece is what I mean. Like, every sheet is like its own thing. But nowadays, they've been lazy long before AI. They're just going to get lazier with AI. And I don't
Of
hate
course.
AI, but you do look back on some of the older art forms and you're just like, they really did put an effort into studying things that they were drawing and stuff. Like you can see a
Yeah, I
difference.
mean, I actually like AI. I mean, I don't really see it as anything other than a tool. In the same way that I'm sure people complained about cameras putting artists out of work, people are saying AI is going to do the same thing. It's fine. It's just another means of expressing yourself. Um, yeah, I mean, you, you may not like the end product, and that's like personal taste, but on a like an ethical level, I don't have a problem with people using AI to make art.
I don't have a problem with it on its own. It's like every tool. Like
Yeah,
you're gonna get some people who make masterpieces, and I'll applaud those guys because that's how I feel about any tool. Like if you master something and do a really good job, yeah, that's cool. It's the
mm,
amount of crap like, and that doesn't, it's not that I hate that so much. I fall into the category, Terry, of
mm.
sometimes I don't always recognize when the advertisement of the video isn't going to follow through. Like the
Oh
amount
right,
of time, like I don't mind if historians often like sometimes use some AI because there's just going to be some things that you're just going to struggle to recreate nowadays,
mm.
and most of them really don't make the kind of money to pay for proper artists. That's just the truth of the
Yeah,
matter. It's just that some of them are really, really lazy about it, and they're very lazy with their prompts. That or
yeah,
they really suck at English, but you know, you'll end up with so many characters where they have multiple limbs and things, and you're like, I'm trying to learn about the
Yeah.
plague, not about the, you know,
Right.
zombie eight-legged people.
Just quickly, hello to Blakester in chat. And Fairy Bastard does make an excellent point that Chitara should have 6 boobs because she is a cat. That's true. And yes, I don't know. The rest is just talking about Land Before Time and Secret of Moon.
Tear lived in the land before time. He
Yeah.
was the teariest dinosaur.
There you go. But yeah, in terms of AI, there's obviously malicious uses for it. Like, I don't obviously approve of, like the whole deepfake thing where, like, if I were to make an AI version of Jen that showed her robbing a bank, and then I tried to get her in trouble or ruin her reputation, well, then that should be illegal. I'm obviously not in favor of anything like that. But if you're just, making goo goo gaga penguin videos, yeah, I don't care. That's fine. Or whatever other.
I don't even. And I don't even mind the historical ones. No. Like I said, like there's some who actually do take the time to edit it. They're like, yeah, that picture looked like shit, so they edit that shit out. I can still tell they're using AI, but because they've edited out the crappy ones, I'm like, okay, that's all.
I mean, look at I don't know if you're familiar with Leaflet, the VTuber, but she releases AI music because she's like a VTuber. She's not a singer, so she gets like AI to sing it and compose the music, and she writes the lyrics. And I mean, whether or not you like the music itself, I mean, I don't have a problem with it because so much of it is her input. She is, first of all, writing the lyrics, but then she's actually got to edit everything, put it together to make the final product, and a lot of effort goes into her AI music. And so it's like, okay, well, I mean, you can't fault her. You can't say that she's taking the easy way out because she's putting a lot of work in. It's just that it's not singing work; it's editing work.
I've suspected for a little bit that some of the people that are complaining the most, so I admit that when I have the worst prompts, it's usually when I'm fucking up with my own English.
Right.
And if I think about like Hollywood types where they're a little bit uppity, they're kind of, college smart and all that shit. I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if they haven't fallen into the category of losing their language skills, their written language skills. Yeah. Because if your writing has gone down the hill, which, not everybody practices their writing all the time. So that is actually a thing. Your skills go downhill. You go to write a prompt and like, yeah, you get something that's like kind of monster fuel. But then you've got people who don't have that problem. Like there's a lot of the world who doesn't have that problem and they write prompts and they get really good art. And you're going to get that with really like people who are already into writing music. They're already writing their own lyrics. They're just using these apps to help them see what it would sound like if they were to play it to a song. So a lot of them already kind of have a theory on like instrument play. So they're already writing that into it too. So they're just like, how would this song sound if it were played with this kind of background music? And so, yeah, it is their stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I was just thinking like the way I use AI is basically as like a search engine. Like the last thing I asked Grok was, why did Matt Melvin leave Cyanide and Happiness? And it's like, I could have just gone on Google and asked the same thing, but Grok will actually like check the sources for me and compile all the information. Like this is just easier. Rather than click on a dozen different links trying to find information. It's like, okay, Grok can do that for me, and it can just tell me the end result. Because Matt Melvin was the first person I ever watched stream. Is like the reason I made a Twitch account was to watch Matt Melvin stream. So that's how I got into it all.
Yep, I don't have any problem with the actual tool itself. I don't really have any problem with people using the tool. I probably will have problems with the people who use the tool like they're jackasses, but like
Yeah.
that's nothing personal. It just means I'll have to avoid their products.
Yeah. Yeah, and Frosted is saying in chat that Grok is super handy for doing quick research. Yeah, exactly. Like it's good for like if you would type something into a Google search, unless you're trying to find a specific website, if you're just trying to find information, AI is probably better. It's probably just a better web search than Google. But yeah, like if I'm trying to find a specific website, then obviously I use Google. But yeah, if I just want to know, you know, information, then yeah, let Grok do all the hard work. It can compile, it can scour the internet and compile all that information for me.
It's also, I still don't think it's going to replace like actual artists. Like,
No,
there's
I mean
just,
photography didn't.
yeah, it's just the people who are really freaking out about it. I'm like, no, you really just, keep doing your art. Just keep like trying to succeed with your own art. There's just some things where, yeah, AI might replace some things, but
No, I mean, I think if you can be replaced by AI, you should be. This is something I've said a lot.
Mhm.
If your art is not good enough to compete with AI art, then you are not ready to become a professional artist. You should still do it as a hobby if that's something you enjoy. But if AI can do your job cheaper and better than you can, then you just got outcompeted. You don't have a job anymore. And Silver Raven Wing says some people make hating AI their whole personality, so double down on it makes them mad. Yeah, I mean, there's people who have very monomaniacal personalities where one issue is their entire life. Like people who hate Trump, people who hate AI, people who hate Elon Musk. They just take one thing that they hate, and that's it. That's their personality now. I think it's sad. I think they're missing out on a whole lot of life, but they can
so
do what they want.
the one truth that is probably going to happen, and unfortunately people have to kind of look at themselves as part of the grief, is AI is going to replace some things. That's the truth.
Yep.
But kind of like in the past, like I do dislike that we don't use other mediums in our movies anymore. Like I actually, believe it or not, I thought that the original Ninja Turtle movies were more clever than the current ones because of
Oh,
the
for sure.
suits.
Yeah.
Like, yes, they were tacky and cheesy, but they were better because of the stupid suits.
Yeah. And Silver Raven Wing says, or using their sexuality as their whole personality. Yeah, they do that too. Or their quote unquote gender, or various other nonsenses. Frosted says, so many of the AI voices are like nails on a chalkboard. Yeah, I mean that's part of the thing. Is like if you can't compete with AI, and AI voices sound like nails on chalkboard, then maybe you're not very good. But also, hello to Six because I saw him in chat and I wanted to say hi.
And then the other thing that happened too is we can't help that, like, the Jim Henson types passed, and whoever took over is like, well, we're good at puppeteering, but good luck having us not shove our political
Yeah,
beliefs down your throat. I still like the puppeteering. It's stuff like that where, believe it or not, adding the texture still added to movies. So
yeah,
one of my things with CGI wasn't that I disliked CGI. I just was worried that they would replace a lot more techniques with CGI than they were gaining out of CGI. And that's where I am with AI. I just think,
yeah, for
like,
sure.
a lot of companies are probably going to push for this, where I'm just like, listen, I do agree with that. Save your money, get rid of people who are useless. Absolutely, you should do that. But don't ignore old technology like it doesn't still catch people, because
Yeah,
it does.
no, of course. I think I think Tier is right. He says in chat that AI is going to automate a lot of things, but it can only copy, it can't create. And I mean, that's true. I mean, if the world relied entirely on AI for like artistic generation, then there would be no new things because it is fairly limited in its capacities because obviously, like, original creation requires actual thought, and despite the name, there is zero intelligence in an AI. It's literally just a glorified autocorrect. Like that's all it does is like, tries to guess what the next thing is, and then it does that. And
Yeah.
Silver Raven means his practical effects are 100 times better than CGI. Now, that being said, VFX for scenery can be used beautifully. Yeah, I mean, practical effects tend to be pretty good. Like, they require a lot more effort, so that's why they're falling out of popularity with the people who make movies. But yeah, I mean, obviously, they look good.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where like it's when you can see the value in it. You know, like when you look back in older videos or older movies, and yeah, the screens might not be as clear anymore because they were using older cameras and stuff like that.
Yeah,
They still filled in more because of all the things that they were doing in the movie. Whereas like now, like so many things are just so plastic. Like I'm gonna go back to the Mario movie. I haven't seen
yeah.
it. I haven't, but I've watched enough reviews from people where I got mixed crowds. Where some people really liked the beginning, and then
Mm-hmm.
the end of the movie just spurred into we don't know where we are land because they don't know where the story went.
Yeah,
I'm like, fair enough. You know, it is Mario. Somebody got tripped on mushrooms. You know,
yeah. There
um,
you go.
but I just the entire time I'm watching this thing, I'm remembering my time stocking shelves, and I'm just like, this is just Nintendo seeking out the next Minions toy so that they
Right.
can sell inane crap to kids because like that's what it screamed of. Like it.
Yeah, that's one of the things you don't realize as a kid is how much of the entertainment is just marketing for toys.
Mhm.
Like Transformers, the entire reason there was a Transformers cartoon was to sell the toys to kids. Like that's the only reason that cartoon exists. Is like, hey, isn't Optimus Prime cool? Or did you know you can buy your own? Just go down to the toy store, beg your mother to buy it for you, and you can have your own Optimus Prime. Isn't that cool? And that's the entire reason that show exists, is just to sell toys to kids.
It's why I won't necessarily knock it. Like, while I wouldn't call it entertaining for myself. I did actually grow up with Mario, you know,
Yeah.
just like a lot of people. Like, there's certain times where I remember enjoying the games, and then I remember when I fell off of Nintendo bandwagon because it's like motherfuckers are just really greedy.
And where was it? Silver Raven thinks his Mario has always been Nintendo's hottest seller next to Tetris. Yeah, I mean, obviously, he's like one of the most successful video game characters of all time.
In a certain way he still is. Like, you know, there's the odd time where like, and this is stupid, but like if I need the odd keychain and there's a Mario, I might buy a Mario.
Yeah,
It's not that I'm like a super Nintendo fan. It's just
no.
there's charm in the characters I remember growing up with, and there always will be.
And like Tira's saying in chat, the only reason characters got killed off in the movies was because the toys weren't selling. Yeah, exactly. It's like the whole thing was marketing for the toys. There is no value in the show except as marketing for the toys. They want the kids to think that is so awesome. I can buy my own. Oh, mom, you have to get this for me. That's it. That's the whole reason it exists.
I will give the parents a little bit of leeway on this one. Usually by now, even people who have no interest in the movie knows the theme song that they've decided to pick for whichever movie. Because the other thing they like to do with marketing is get some kind of brain troll into the ears of the kids. So if they've just stuck with like the original Nintendo theme song, that's fine. We all have that. That's just going to be there.
I think the intro to the Super Mario Brothers Super Show should be the official like Nintendo theme song. They should just put it anywhere Mario is. Every Mario game, everywhere should have where the Mario Brothers and plumbins the game. They just put that in every Nintendo game that has Mario in it. Mario Tennis, Mario Kart, Mario Party, doesn't matter. Put that song in it. And you can thank me later. Just like the Donkey Kong rap is the greatest thing that Donkey Kong has ever created. And the best thing to come out of the Donkey Kong series was the Donkey Kong rap. So they should put it in more. Yes, Frosted says, and the Donkey Kong rap. Exactly. Great minds thinking alike.
Now see, that's where I think they went wrong. And I'm being selfish, Nintendo. I was a bit of a Donkey Kong girl. Not necessarily Donkey Kong, but Donkey Kong Jr. Because someday you got to release that poor kid.
Yeah.
But I kind of thought instead of leading into an entirely different franchise where there's no actual links to it, Mario should have led into, like, yeah, we had King Koopa, we had King Koopa's kid into Donkey Kong before you went with Silver Fox. I'm like, Silver Fox is an entirely different franchise as far as I'm aware.
I actually have very good news for you. They did release Donkey Kong Jr. because if you play the game Donkey Kong Country, you actually play as Donkey Kong Jr.
I never went that far. I was like, Nintendo is too expensive.
The original Donkey Kong from like Donkey Kong, in Donkey Kong Country, he is Cranky Kong, and the character named Donkey Kong in the game is actually Donkey Kong Jr. So he does get released, and he even gets at least 4 games. I think they made a whole bunch of extra ones with like.
There's a whole bunch of lore I don't know because I never got the GameCube. I knew some people who had one, and I just didn't follow the game. I just know that like the whole world that they expanded to is massive. Yes. But like as far as the movie went, like I thought that they should have led the movie into Donkey Kong rather than into. Donkey Kong has more ties to Mario than random Nintendo franchises. Like they look like they want to go around the loop of introducing Nintendo franchises in the movie thread. I'm like, I get that, but Donkey Kong has more direct ties. It makes more sense to go through Donkey Kong first than it does going through. But like that's Nintendo's thing. Like they're.
I do think the best Donkey Kong Country character was Dixie Kong because she could hover. She had like a ponytail that she could use it like a helicopter. So if you had like a really long jump to make, you could use her helicopter hair to make it easier to make the jumps. So best character by far is Dixie Kong.
Yeah.
Oh, and Frosted is saying nothing beats the Jesus rap. Jesus Christ is my word I can't say on Minions. Is indeed a classic.
I mean, it's Asmongold Gold now. He's
Jesus. And Frosted hasn't had a Nintendo console since the N64. I had a GameCube and I had a Wii. I think that's it. I definitely didn't get a Wii U. I guess, I mean, Switch doesn't really count because it's a handheld, but I didn't use it as a handheld. I don't know. You can count Switch if you want.
I didn't have an N64 either. Yet again, it was one of those things where my parents figured that I had an original Nintendo.
No, I had every Nintendo console up to the Wii. So I had the NES, the Super Nintendo, the 64, the GameCube, the Wii, and I didn't have a Wii U, and then I don't know if you want to count the Switch. I did get one, but I think that falls more in the handheld category. And I don't have a Switch 2, and I have no intention of buying one.
Yeah, I had some friends who had the N64, and then I just had the original Nintendo, and then I bought my own PlayStation 2 because there was.
And to put Frosted's mind at ease, Dixie Kong is way too much animal to not be creepy if you want to have sex with her. That Dixie Kong is basically a monkey or an ape. It's barely anthropomorphized at all. If you want to have sex with Dixie Kong, there's something weird about it.
Yeah.
And also, hello to Adam, or Adracade, as he seems to go by. And Six is mentioning Asman got suspended on Twitch. He did. And as always, it's for complete bullshit reasons. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying I don't care about the opinions of illiterate goat herders in Afghanistan.
And he's not wrong. If somebody is almost always like believing everything is true, including AI, like all the time, yeah, I'm not taking their opinion
of course either. Not. But like, I think it goes both ways. I think if some Afghani wants to say, "What the fuck do I care what Asmongold thinks about my country?" True, like you shouldn't. Mm-hmm. Like if you're in a completely different culture to someone, you probably don't care what their opinion of yours is. I don't spend a lot of time worrying about what the people in Ghana think of Western culture. It's not relevant to me, and I would imagine that they only look at Western civilization as a resource, not as a source of valuable opinions. Okay, so Silver Ravenwing says, I seriously underestimate the internet. Oh, no. I know the internet is creepy and fucked up. I'm just saying that if you want to have sex with Dixie Kong, you are one of the creepy and fucked up people. Mm-hmm. Adrocade says, still no hammer. Nope, he's still recovering. I'm thinking it's going to be a few more weeks from the sounds of things, but hopefully he'll get better soon. We definitely want Hammer back so I can stop hosting. And Wii Sports is great. I did actually enjoy Wii Sports. It's probably the only sports game I've ever enjoyed. But yeah, there was something satisfying about swinging your arm and having that motion represented in the game. I think that was quite neat, quite a nifty little bit of technology. Novelty wore off pretty quick, but it was fun for what it was.
It's actually funny. Like Nintendo does all these novelty things. It does work for a while. They do make sales off of it.
Yeah.
But then people clue in that they're encouraging them to do exercise, and they're like, nah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I didn't care about that. For me, it's just like the novelty of motion controls was fun for a while, but you quickly realize pushing a button is just so much more effective. Like, if I'm playing, I'm playing a tennis game, I would rather hit the button to swing the racket than actually have to swing my arm every single time. And eventually you just get to the point where it's like, okay, it was a nice little experiment, but you haven't superseded the decades-old technology of button. And no Mortal Kombat trilogy. Obviously, Mataro is off limits. I'm sure there's context there that I'm missing. Okay. Six is saying he challenges us to Wii bowling, and Frosted would rather make it Mortal Kombat trilogy, but he's banning Mataro. Okay. I'm understanding now. I do not like Mortal Kombat, so I will be on Team Bowling. Mortal Kombat is it's good at presentation, but the actual gameplay is garbage. Even in the 90s, like I respected it. It looks cool, like the fatalities are cool, and like the general like aesthetic design and all that stuff is cool. Like I like that about Mortal Kombat, but actually playing it as a game is garbage. I don't know how anyone could put Mortal Kombat over like Street Fighter in terms of gameplay.
Yep. I don't know. I think Nintendo should go back to the pads.
Yeah.
Piss off the parents. But it gets their kids active again.
I think Nintendo's spiraling the drain at this point. I don't think they've done much good. But this could just be me aging out of the demographic. Maybe I'm no longer the one they're trying to appeal to, but it seems to me like people had a lot of complaints about Nintendo, and I haven't seen a lot of praise for them in a long time.
They basically don't want to make the kind of products where you're going to have something for it.
Yeah.
Like the thing I made a joke about with the pad. Yeah, they don't want to make a pad. Like they don't want to put in extra resources more than they have to. Like they're falling in the category of being, well, we can't source this stuff anymore, even though a lot of what I'm hearing is some of that's garbage.
Yeah.
So like what they want is the kind of thing where like Steam, where like, yeah, they can sell you a bunch of games, but you know, they're not really your games, you know, because you don't.
Yeah. You're buying a license.
So it, and I think that's a fail. I actually have thought that's like, don't get me wrong, I do appreciate Steam. Like one of the reasons I do like Steam is if I did lose my computer, I could replace my computer and my Steam is still okay.
Yes, exactly.
But a lot of real fandoms do have people like collecting things.
But
You know?
one thing I will say is that that's true in theory, but eventually you get to the point where the game is too old to run on modern technology. Like I've got games, like I can't think of any off the top of my head, but there have been games where I've tried to play a game on Steam, and because it's a game that was made in the 90s and I'm using a computer that was made in the 2020s, it doesn't work. I mean, there's massive compatibility issues, and it's just, yeah, the technology will eventually obsolete certain games. If it's a good enough game, they'll probably do like a remake or an update to make it work on modern technology, but there's a lot of really old stuff that simply just doesn't work because it's not designed for current operating system.
And that's going to drive people nuts. That's absolutely going to drive people nuts because like some of those games are eventually going to, and I know it's laughable for other people, but yeah, some of those games end up being historical because like, you know, they're memories of stories, they're memory of technology. It's a memory of like how did they make that, you know?
Yeah. And Silver Raven is saying there's a reason for that. Old games were made for older monitors. Yeah, exactly. No, I know that's the reason. That's what I said. Technology has moved on and they're no longer compatible. So yeah, that's exactly why it's a problem. Tia says emulation. Emulation is an excellent solution, but that like if you buy a game on Steam, that you can emulate it. I'm sure there's a way to emulate most of these really old games, but that doesn't help you play your Steam version. that no longer works.
I don't know why, Tier. I don't mean to pick on you. You aren't even the only person I know who's a person of color. But now that you're here, I have the version of Potterverse where they're like, Professor Snape. It's Professor Snape.
Yeah, yes.
Bother. Sorry, I haven't watched that shit in like a long time.
Silver Raven says he emulates a lot of games. I mean, I emulate games all the time. Every time I go on Adam's stream, we're playing emulated versions of the fighting games, unless it's a game we play on Steam. But every time we go on Fightgate, those are emulated versions. Emulation is great. It's a good way of like preserving games that would otherwise be completely inaccessible. You don't get to play Time Killers, the original version. You pretty much need to emulate it.
Desparo made a good video on why Harry Potter is going to crash and burn. I'm not surprised. I'll probably watch that eventually because I do follow him.
But vaguely familiar name, but I don't know who that is. Who's Desparo?
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to the context of the character. I'm not even meaning to hyper focus on it because there's a lot of shit in the HBO show that looks like crap. I am referring to it as the Temu Harry Potter at this point because there's a lot of stuff I'm like, I'm not too keen on this.
I generally think anything made in the last 20 years is probably not worth bothering with. Unless there's like specific exceptions. Like there have been some games, obviously, that have been good in the last 20 years, but generally speaking, anything post about mid 2000s is junk. Tia says a YouTuber who does a lot of review content of work shows. Okay, so that makes sense. Um, Snape really should have stopped using the dark arts, says Tia.
No.
Silver Ravenwing says there's so much they're going to have to cut out, so there's no racial implications because they made Snape black. I've been told that. Like, I know nothing about Harry Potter, but I've been told that Snape being black does raise concerns in terms of the story. I don't know what a Patronus is, but apparently Snape's is a Colt 45. So,
yeah.
Maybe he meant Patreon. Snape's Patreon. There you go.
It's even funnier. Yeah, his Patronus is a pack of Newports. Oh, that's funny. So Patronus, in the show, is a spell that's supposed to help you ward off, basically a kind of demon.
Okay.
It's the best way to describe it. They're called a depress. I can't remember how to call them, but it's something stupid. It's like depressos, and they're like basically people who've had their soul sucked out, so they're like cloak people now. If you go with
gingers.
the movie.
No. The word you're looking for is gingers. Okay.
They're gingers. That's perfect. I'm actually okay if people don't like Harry Potter. I've never actually had an issue with that. It's like any franchise. You're either gonna like it or it was either your thing or it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't dislike it. I know nothing about it. Maybe it's awesome. I just haven't. I haven't read it. I haven't watched it. Oh no, sorry. I did watch the first movie and I didn't like it. I didn't like the first movie. I only really saw it because my mum made me, because it was like, your brother wants to see the Harry Potter movie, take him, because I don't want to see, because she didn't want to see it. Like, all right, I guess I'm taking my brother to see Harry Potter. So I did see the first Harry Potter movie. I didn't think much of it. I had no particular motivation to read the books or see the other movies, but maybe they get better. I'm sure they do, but
Tier's memory is better for stuff. I'm the type of troll to like remember a name badly.
So
but Dementors.
Yes, apparently the Patronus is the spell that wards off Dementors, and Dementors suck the souls of anyone who gets in their way. They cause sadness and depression and despair wherever they go. So they're black people. I thought they were gingers. I don't know. I'm confused. Maybe this is like Netflix, where they were gingers and then they turned them into black people. I don't know.
It's weird. I've read all the books. I've watched all the movies. I didn't finish the game like I meant to. It's just I ended up watching Monkey's playthrough, and the idea that you're playing around as a special needs person just I can't get it out of my head. So I'm like, it's a good game, but I find that it's distracting when you look at it like that. But overall, I don't have any hatred towards it. I think my grief was more of like stupid stuff. Like I think Emma Watson's up her own ass.
Oh yeah, of course.
I same for the other two, but
the thing there is, I just assume every actor is a pretentious cockhole. Like,
basically,
Emma Watson being a pretentious bitch, yeah, of course she is. She's an actress. Like that. If I refused to watch things that had obnoxious actors in them, I would not watch anything.
I think for me, it's two things. One, I still like the literature, regardless of whether or not I always see eye to eye with J.K. Rowling, which is like really pathetic. No, I haven't always agreed with her on everything. But her books were still good. I don't think they were masterpieces like that. When you reread them, you realize that there's a lot of stuff in there where there's kind of plot holes and stuff.
Yeah.
But all the same, it brought me good memories from my childhood. So I'm not going to shit on my childhood because I don't agree with J.K. Rowling on
Yeah,
everything. But I'm not going to kiss her ass either because, like, not everything that she's put out was something I was interested in. Like, that's just how it
yeah.
happens with
No, I think
literature.
no, I think like whatever you like. If you like
Yeah.
Harry Potter, then that's fine.
Yeah.
I like I said, I don't even actively dislike it. I just know nothing about it because it's not something that I've cared to look into. But yeah,
But
if you like it, enjoy it. It's fine.
but one of the things I will say is I don't like gaslighting. And when they're like, "Oh, you just don't like our remake because we changed a character that now changes the whole fucking story," and then conveniently leave out characters that were already people of color, like they already have outstanding characters in Harry Potter
Yeah,
where they're
and
noted as being people of color. And instead of actually giving them more character or fleshing them out a little bit, because they do have scenes in the books that you could flesh out a little bit more, we're gonna make believe, act like we're not doing that, act as though some of our fans weren't black people in the first place, which is
hmm,
stupid,
well,
and then act as though the actual issue
well, my
is racism. And
yeah.
I'm tired of that. Like I really am.
No, my stance on the whole race swap thing is it would be fine if it was going in all directions. Like if you had, yes, you had a black James Bond, but you also had, you know, a white Kiryu from like Yakuza, or
Mhm.
like an Asian Blade, or Black Panther or something like that. If it was just like fuck it, sometimes we change the race for no reason, then it's like sure, whatever. The fact that it's always fuck white people, that's the problem that I have with the race swaps. If it was just a free for all, like you know what, we just feel like it would be funnier if the Little Mermaid was Chinese. It's like okay, I mean whatever. But the fact that it's always no, we take white people and then we say fuck you and we make them black people. That's the thing that I think is causing a lot of problems with the people who are opposed to it, like including myself. I think
Mhm.
that's why a lot of people have issues with it. Is the one direction, like the unidirectional nature of it, where it's only fuck white people all the time, and that's not good.
Well, it's even down to, okay, playing a little bit devil's advocate. Say we're going to pretend that we were okay with it being Snape. They didn't
Hmm.
even study his character. Like I brought up the potion master thing to you earlier, but like
Yeah,
honestly, part of the reason that is in the description is because it defines how he looks. Like he spends most of his time in a dungeon making potions with students.
yeah,
So like he's a kind of a greasy looking guy. That's
makes sense.
not to say he's dirty. He's just kind of a greasy looking guy. He's going to smell herbally, all this stuff, like everything down to the costumes in the show. I'm like, this guy is so neat and clean. Like I don't really see, I don't even see him selling you drugs. Okay.
Yeah,
Like he looks kind of clean that way. I'm not saying he couldn't. Like I'm not
right.
defining somebody's character based off their looks, but if you're going with Snape as a character, they didn't go that route either. Like he doesn't scream nerd. He doesn't scream, I am the guy who's going to slip something into your drink while you're not watching just so I can
Yeah,
see you, keel over later. He doesn't seem like that guy. He could have been any other character because I don't think that his character is necessarily bad. He just doesn't look like Snape. And I'm like,
right.
you can't even go with a costume for the guy.
Of course not. Silver Evening says he's described as pale, greasy, long-haired with a hooked nose. Okay, I mean, then he's definitely not matching the actor that they've chosen.
And Silver Raven Wing's not wrong. I'm just giving them like that little tiny bit of leeway where, like, okay, say I'm gonna have to pretend that he's this character. You're not even giving me the leeway of a costume that would allow me to pretend.
Yeah, uh, I I don't know. I think race swapping is stupid. I
Mhm.
don't think there's any value in it. I think if a character is written as one particular race, just leave them like that. Like if you want more black representation, like make something with black people in it, like Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Like do something like that. If instead of making the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, they made Full House but with black people, then no one would have watched it. Like,
well, it's even in a lot of these shows, they already do have people that are people of color.
yeah.
And all of a sudden, they just don't exist. And I'm like, if ever there was something that's kind of offensive, it's characters that already exist, but they're just not good enough for you. You know,
Yeah.
and like, okay, well, say it was just like an old Marvel character. I don't know Marvel characters the way Marvel fans do, but I do remember images of some characters who were in fact black. Well, okay, maybe some of them are a little bit outdated. Yeah, you update them a little bit so they're a little bit more current day. Okay, don't give them the stupid gay hair shit all the time, because even black people get tired of that crap. But like, say you update them a little bit so they're a little bit more modern, they're using like common cell phones and that kind of shit. Fair enough. They weren't uninteresting at the time. They were absolutely interesting at the time. It's just that these people, I think, are full of shit. And
Don't know a lot about Marvel characters. I believe Storm is canonically black. Like even in the comics, like the original version of Storm has always been black.
Yep.
I'm sure there's others that, but like Storm is the one that springs immediately to mind because that's probably the most famous example. But I think Iron Man's friend or something is meant to be black. Like, I don't know. I don't know the lore very well, but I think like War Machine is because I'm going off the video game. So War Machine is basically Iron Man, but like slightly different. So I think War Machine ended up being black from memory, but I'm sure there's black Marvel characters. Is my point.
I remember them as like drawn images. I just don't remember names. I actually been bad with names for the entirety of my life.
Yeah.
But my brother liked comics. And so like sometimes you look through the pictures and I'm like, yeah, that guy's clearly a black guy.
I was so hoping, because you said you're bad with names, you're gonna like my brother. I still don't know what his name is.
Oh, if I did that, that'd be amazing. He'd
That
be
would
so
be very,
mad at me.
very funny.
Well, there you go. See, I knew come in.
Yeah.
But like I'm bad with names, but I remember I remember how they were drawn, and like there's times where like you flip through comics and like there's tons of characters that are people of color, especially if you go Marvel, because when you go with the mutants and stuff, like they went all over the place with the mutants, Terry. Like, because I would look at them for the art. Like if I wasn't into the story, sometimes I would look at it for the art, because a lot of the art was fantastic. And like I remember mutants were like, you'd have a whole page with like a colossal look at how vastly different all these mutants could be, because they had mutant wars. Like you would have mutant on mutant wars. There'd be like three groups that fights with each other, and then there's like the X-Men in the corner trying to deal with all this shit, you know. And so like you have all these different colored characters, you know, because they're representing North America. Like if like, okay, 60% of them are probably white.
And
60% of
our resident blackness expert has listed quite a lot of black characters in Marvel. So there you go. Storm, I'm assuming that means Luke. He's written as Luck. Luke Cage, Rhodes, War Machine, Black Panther, Blade, Miles fucking Morales. That is an unfortunate middle name. He should just get that changed. The Prowler, I've never heard of the Prowler or Silk. I only know Bishop because there is a card game called Legendary, and it's based on Marvel characters, and Bishop is one of the characters in that. I don't know who Spike is unless you're talking about the vampire from Buffy, but he's not black. Six says Night Thrasher. Don't know who that is.
And here's the thing, Terry. I don't think that like you should be force-fed these characters or anything, but the fact that you don't even know about them is why I'm like, so why don't they use characters that already exist?
Yeah, absolutely. Like if they decided, you know what, we're going to make a movie all about Bishop, cool. I mean, That's fine. But if they're going to say, you know what the world needs, Black Iron Man, I think, well, no, it doesn't.
You know, like, and it's not like, you know, like be restricted to the ones that you have. It's just you have them and you don't even use the ones you have.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, my point is always just make new characters rather than race swapping the existing ones. If
Yeah.
you want more black representation, you like make a black character. Don't just say Jamal Bond. Yeah, there we go. Huh. 007, always been black. Don't know what you're talking about.
It's just I find and no, I'm not a black person, so maybe it's not for me to be offended. You know, I don't want to be that white bitch either. But if it was me, I'm like, that's why I don't like feminists writing female characters for me, because I'm like, well, I don't want to be a weird bearded buff fat lady with alopecia who doesn't know their gender. And
yes. Okay, so two things. First of all, Tia is getting way too involved in the Marvel lore, so I'm just going to assume that he's correct and just leave it at that. And secondly, we have actually hit our time, so thank you for joining us, people in chat. Thank you for joining me, Jen.
Yeah, no problem.
I was hoping Hammer would be able to join us, like the last couple of times he's been able to jump in, but I think he said he's not allowed to use the internet the way he was when he joined us. So, you know, maybe it's best that he doesn't get in trouble.
Yeah.
All the same, thanks for coming out. We'll see you guys next week. See you later, guys.
See you later, guys.